Alright, let's do this again, shall we? Move on with our lives and so forth. Okay, so we're almost maxing out Hugh's thing. And then I'll just be able to focus on my gardening, like I do. I'll be so close. Hey, you gave me the 100! Yo, yo. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll just ignore everything, because nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Except for the scene. I circle the large illuminated catwalk with my tablet in hand. Hastily, I key in a few notes and then make my way to the technician booth, eager to share. Overall, the lighting arrangement is nice, but I think a softer glow will better complement this particular collection. We go through a few different shaded slides for the spotlights before finally settling on a slightly pinkish hue. Very nice, if I do say so myself. Good job, me. Oh, so pretty. I bring my to-do list up on my tablet again and strike through the section labeled Lighting, then move on down the list. The next item reads Makeup, so I tuck the tablet under my arm and advance towards the trailers nearby. There's an extra bounce in my step today, and I think the crew have noticed based on the curious stares I've been receiving. Although I usually oversee the arrangement for Hugh's company's fashion shows, this particular show is the first to feature some of my designs. Naturally, all of the designs will have the company's name slapped on it, as all the in-house designers' pieces do, but it's still an invigorating experience. Though in-house designers are largely unknown, despite the success of their pieces, the fulfillment comes not from the fame that could potentially be garnered, but instead from the splash that your pieces make on the fashion world. That is, of course, if editors like your pieces. Well-received pieces will be manufactured and sold to consumers, whereas iffy or poorly lauded ones will forever fade away in the depths of fashion hell. C'est la vie. I make my way from trailer to trailer, briefly stepping inside to critique each model's makeup. Less is more, I keep having to remind the makeup artists. I want the models to have a natural look. Heavy makeup is only going to draw attention away from the beauty of the pieces. As I step into the next trailer, I find Molly seated in the makeup artist's chair, wearing an especially sour expression as she stares bitterly at her phone. We kept you on, eh? I had expected you'd be happier to have received a second chance from our company. Oh, Amy! Surprised, Molly bolts upright and tucks the phone away into the pockets of her fluffy robe. Very fluffy robe. Funny thing is, I think I have a dress that looks exactly like this, but it's in black. Coincidence? While our first work experience together wasn't a pleasant one, I've since forgiven Molly. Aw, thank you, Amy. I mean, come on, my husband is attractive, so women are going to hit on him occasionally. Get over it, Amy. Our company has booked her a few shows since then, and she's a surprisingly good model. Tall, poised, and especially courteous, although I suspect she takes extra care to be kind while around me for obvious reasons. She's a nice addition to our short list of models. I like to make comments that put her on edge sometimes, like the one made just moments ago, because I guess I'm a terrible person or something. At ease, soldier. But seriously, why so glum? Oh, it's nothing important. I just had dinner plans and my friend bailed on me. Most models go out and enjoy a big meal and drinks after a big show. I don't blame them. Many go on strict diets and tight workout regimens for weeks preceding a show in order to achieve an uncommonly thin appearance. So yeah, they totally deserve to pig out a little after going a month without carbs or sodium. Join me and Hugh, then. We'll treat you. No, I couldn't. No biggie. I feel bad for nearly biting your head off the first time we met, so think of this as a sort of apology. It's really me who should apologize, though. Look, we both know I was the one who was really at fault. So let me make it up to you. Come on. Well, if you're sure. Of course I'm sure. I'll catch up with you after the show, okay? Molly nods meekly and sinks back into her chair. That was so nice of you, Amy. I give her face a quick one-over and tell the makeup artist to go with a lighter shade of lipstick, then make my way to the next trailer. It occurs to me that I should probably notify Hugh that we'll have an extra dinner guest so he can adjust the reservations. I shoot him a quick text and tuck the device back into my pocket. Minutes later, I receive a startled response. Molly? As in the model you nearly maimed upon first meeting? What's brought on this sudden case of amnesia? Or have you been drinking on the job? I send off another text explaining that I'm a good person, unlike him, and I want to make things right between Molly and me. Several minutes later, I receive an email confirmation that the reservation has been modified, along with another text from Hugh. It reads, I changed the reservation and took the liberty of ordering you a saddle. I didn't want you to chafe while riding your high horse. Uh-huh. You said Molly was going to join us, right? She said she wanted to. Well then, where is she? I'm not sure. I stare into my wine glass and absent-mindedly swirl the nectar around before taking a sip. Why is Hugh so perturbed about Molly's absence? Why didn't you two just come together? It would have been much easier that way. She said she wanted to come separate. Besides, models have a long undressing routine after a show. Some of the pieces can be quite complicated to remove. I wouldn't have wanted to wait on her while she did all that. Oh. Huh. Hugh feigns interest, but the drumming of his fingers on the table and the sideways glances at his watches betray him. How do you think the show went? Huh? The comment pulls him out of his thoughts and gives him those scary eyes again, and it takes him a moment to register the question. Oh, fine. Really? Yeah, for sure. Because this was a big deal for me, you know? Of course. He doesn't really bother making eye contact. They're too busy scanning the entrance of the restaurant. Finally, they find what they're looking for. Ah, here she is! He stands, waving her over to the table. I stand too, to be polite. As Hugh and I lower ourselves back into seating positions, I lean over and whisper, taking care to do so before Molly is within earshot. My, someone's excited. You're reading too much into it, Amy. I'm just hungry. We could have ordered an appetizer or something while we waited. Molly arrives at the table, cutting our conversation short. I'm so sorry I'm late. It takes a while, as I'm sure you know, to change and all that. I was wondering what you were going to be wearing. Phew. That's a nightgown is what that is. A lingerie nightgown. Before sinking down into the empty adjacent chair, Molly removes her coat, revealing... Well, let's just say she was revealing a lot more than I wanted to see of her at dinner. What a beautiful dress, Molly. Of course it is, since you designed it, Mrs. Amy. That's right. I did. I was going for something sleek and sexy, but still elegant enough to wear to high-class parties and premieres. I chose satin for the ball gown's cloth and opted for a plunge neckline held up by thin, bejeweled straps. I now regret not going with a more demure conservative look. Yeah, no, less is more. But isn't it a bit chilly yet to be wearing something like that? Maybe you should put your coat back on. Oh, this weather feels warm to me since I've lived most of my life in the northern region. In fact, with the climate here being so tropical, I feel hot nearly all the time. My eyes are uncomfortably drawn to her ample cleavage, which appear ready to spill out of her dress at any moment. You certainly wear it well, Molly. I pry my eyes away from her nearly exposed torso and glance at Hugh. It appears that his eyes are, unfortunately, also drawn to the same spot mine were. It's an almost magnetic reaction. I mean, they're so large, they probably have their own orbit. Hey, be a little sensitive, please. Who knows? Maybe our eyeballs are drawn into it, helpless like the meteorites that orbit Earth. Hugh, you dropped something. He doesn't respond, still mesmerized by her beauty. Hugh. I reach under the tablecloth and pinch his leg, pulling him back to reality. Ow! What? You dropped your jaw on the floor, sweetie. I was just getting it for you. I hold out one hand and mine with the other, dusting off his imaginary jaw. There, all better now. Thanks. He grins sheepishly, embarrassed to have been caught staring at another woman. Molly, though blushing, appears secretly pleased. So, Molly, tell us about yourself. It's not often that we see our models outside of the workplace, so we really don't know much about their personal lives. Let's see. Molly presses her hand to her cheek and stares off in contemplative thought. Well, I was born in a small town. I moved away when I was older, though. I got a beauty scholarship to a big university, and in return represented them in national beauty competitions. That was how I got to sign with such a well-known agency, even though I'm, like, super young and stuff. Let's see. More about me. I really like volunteering. Really? That's something we have in common, then. Hugh and I are really passionate about providing clothing to underprivileged children. In addition to things like shoe drives, we also provide bedding and clothes to children in orphanages, who often receive worn and soiled hand-me-downs. I lovingly pat Hugh on the hand and continue. It's really fortunate that I'm married to the CEO of a company, and that he shares the same vision that I do. We're able to work together and use proceeds from sales to further our favorite causes. Like, for instance, the campaign we're launching with our new fall collection. For every jacket and pair of shoes bought, we'll donate a pair of shoes and winter coat to an impoverished child. But enough about us. Amy interrupted you, didn't she? What kind of charities are you involved in? Molly's eyes light up, eager for her chance to share. Well, it's a charity that I've come up with myself, and I'm super proud of it. What I do is adopt ugly cats from local animal shelters. Like the ones with scars, missing eyes, and other gross stuff like that. Then I take them home and make them beautiful. I sew little costumes for them, apply a little bit of makeup, and voila! Let me tell you, the before and after difference is stunning. Afterwards, I take their picture and put them up for adoption through an online directory. I flinch, unsure if I should hold back my laughter. Is she serious? Yes, animal shelters filling up with unwanted pets is a serious problem, but cat makeup? And dresses? I cast a sideways glance at Hugh, who also seems perplexed. That's, nice. It's a huge problem that's affecting our world, and no one wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to adopt cute cats, but the ugly ones deserve love too. I just want to show the world that every cat can be beautiful. It only takes a little bit of makeup, the right sparkly dress, and maybe a tiny hard eye patch if one of their eyes looks gross or whatever. Realizing that she is serious, my shoulders tense up as I contemplate how I should respond. Should I indulge her, or guide the conversation to something over her head, hoping she'll remain quiet for the rest of the evening? I know she's our guest and I should be polite, but I really don't want to spend the night talking about bedazzled cat eye patches. Regardless, I'd better tread carefully here. I'm gonna save, but I kind of think we should change the topic, sweet Molly. For the sake of my own sanity, I decided to derail this cat chatter. Part of the reason I invited Molly was to apologize for the angry outburst I had upon our first meeting. If I were to listen to more talk about trinkets designed for ugly cats, I might have yet another angry outburst. That's incredibly interesting, Molly, but maybe we should pause and decide what to order. And I distinctly remember Hugh saying something about being incredibly hungry. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm definitely hungry. As we browse through the menu, it occurs to me that I know a great deal about a particular subject of which I'm certain Molly knows very little about. Food. Oh, Molly, you really have to try the foie gras. It's incredible. Foie... What? Is that a carb? Because I try to cut back on carbs. I'm unable to hide my amusement. A carb? No, it's fattened duck liver. Fattened liver? Why would I want to eat something that's been fattened? That sounds bad for you. It's a French delicacy, Molly. You'll love it. Tell her, Hugh. It's amazing, really. Very rich and buttery. Butter? I try not to eat butter unless I have to. No, I was referring to the texture. Oh. I think I'll just stick with the Caesar salad. Thanks. Molly closes her menu and sets it on the table, looking thoroughly embarrassed. Hugh smiles a sort of pitiable smile at her in a failed attempt to comfort, while I take another sip of my wine, feeling somewhat victorious. Later that evening, with a bloated belly and an inebriated saunter, I make my way to our car, helped along by the completely sober Hugh. Why did you do that back there? Do what? Humiliate Molly like that. Don't you think it was a little rude? I thought you two were on good terms now. Now, if I were sober, I would indefinitely structure and articulate response which guised my insecurities and cleared me of any wrongdoing whatsoever. But, because I had 3 glasses of wine, my response is this. Perfect, Amy. You nailed it. 'Cause he kept starting at her tatas, ding-dong. He was taken aback by my crudeness, but his look of shock quickly dissolves as his body shakes with laughter. Stop laughing! It's not funny. Well, Amy, you designed the dress. Are you gonna get mad every time someone wears it? No. Just when hot ladies wear it. In front of my husband. Hugh snickers again, not out of meanness, but rather this laugh carries a sentiment of compassion. Amy, there's no need to get jealous. Do you honestly think I would ever leave you for some model? Someone who hot glues lace to cat collars and calls that charity? Someone who won't eat foie gras with me? She wouldn't even try it. It was like she was scared. Of duck liver. Exactly. She's not adventurous and exciting like you, Amy. Girls like her are boring. That's why I picked you. Hugh wraps his arms around my waist and pulls me into his chest. Instant regret. You reek. Gross. You should write a romance novel, Romeo. It'd sell millions. He pushes my body away from his and advances to the car. Okay, let's go. I'm tired. As I stumble towards him, I can't help but feel pleased that my changing the subject actually succeeded in making Molly look less desirable to Hugh, and kept me from another angry outburst. I guess at the end of the day, brains really do triumph over body. Sure. You can call it that if you want to, Amy. If it helps you sleep at night. Get back to your gardening. Crazy woman. Keep gardening. We gotta get that 100. And another scene. Oh, here's a familiar sight. Hugh drums his fingers against his knee incessantly, keeping in tune with the recurring tick of the clock hung opposite us. He wears a frown as he looks down at his leather shoes, looking altogether miserable. My eyes admire the elegant curves of the antique bookshelf next to the receptionist's desk. The books occupying the shelves have titles like When Love Isn't Enough, How to Overcome Marital Conflict, and Before You Say I Do, Important Questions to Ask. Oh, hello. On cue, mere seconds after the clock strikes 1 p.m., a particularly well-dressed woman emerges from her office and enters the waiting room, clipboard in hand. I might be biased when I say that she's well-dressed, since the dress she's wearing is one that I designed. It's always a nice surprise to see someone wearing one of my designs, though it's becoming a more common occurrence. The new collections we've launched as of late, spearheaded by me and aimed at the average woman, have expanded to stores like Stacy's, Bloomingdale's, and Mac's 6th Avenue. In short, our brand is more accessible, meaning that even soccer moms can now feasibly line their closets with blouses designed by me. However, it's the particular dress she's chosen that comes as the biggest surprise. I had assumed someone of her profession would be more conservative, to say the least. Hello, I'm Dr. Whitehouse. I assume you two are Hugh and Amy? Yes, we are. I stand quickly to shake the therapist's outstretched hand while he remains seated, grimacing at the poor woman. This is my husband, Hugh. I gesture to Hugh, who now appears mildly nauseous. You'll have to excuse him. He's not feeling well today. Why are we here? In truth, Hugh was incredibly offended when I mentioned the idea of couples therapy after our last fight. When did you guys fight? He's been sulking ever since, even going so far as to give me the cold shoulder at work. Did I miss something? Still, I'm surprised he's kept the charade going even in public. Doesn't he realize how childish he looks, sitting there with that stupid scowl on his face? God, it's like I married someone with the emotional maturity of a toddler. Let's step into my office and we can begin the session. She turns on her heel and strides into her office, with me following closely behind and he reluctantly sauntering after us. Oh, were you the therapist that was supposed to talk to Lawrence? It's like I imagined a therapist's office would be. With soft lighting, an imposing-looking desk, and, of course, a couch. There are also a few plants present, which I assume are to make the room feel less cold and threatening. She motions to the couch, beckoning us to take a seat, while she rolls her desk chair towards us and sits opposite the couch. First off, let's get the obvious out of the way. Why are you here?
Beats me. Ask Amy. She's the one who thought we needed this crap. I mean, therapy. She's the one who thought we needed this therapy.
Dr. Whitehouse's eyebrow twitches slightly, but aside from that, she does not respond. We've just been having some issues lately. It's common stuff, I imagine. Stuff like trust issues, poor communication, I think. I look to Hugh, hoping he'll voice a concern or two, but instead notice his eyes glued to the therapist. This is what I'm talking about, Doc. They seem to be working themselves slowly down her body, examining every inch of her. Good Lord, I can't believe him. Here we are, enrolled in couples therapy to discuss our trust issues, and he's ogling the therapist. He's probably undressing her with his eyes, that pervert. I should have gone with a male therapist like Eddie. Then we wouldn't have this issue. Who was I to know that he would be distracted by nearly every woman on the planet? Amy, what's on your mind? Oh, nothing. You look distressed. I want you to feel comfortable expressing yourself here. Please, tell me what's wrong. Well... We're trying to harmonize and strengthen our relationship. So I guess I'll go with, I don't feel like he respects me. Hugh's eyebrows jump up as he blurs out his opposition.
I don't respect you? Where's this coming from, huh?
Not once have you congratulated me on the success of my designs.
Our whole company has been experiencing growth across the board.
Yes, but I was the one who suggested we broaden our market by designing clothes for everyday women, not just celebrity fashions. And the collections we've launched with that target audience in mind have done amazingly well. We're featured in twice as many stores now than we were this time last year.
It's not like the collection is solely comprised of your designs.
Not solely, but if you actually looked at the collection, you'd see that I designed a majority of the pieces. But you're probably too busy designing ball gowns for the VMAs to notice my lowly collection, huh? I've done so much for this company, but not once have I received a promotion or a bonus.
Bonus? Amy, is this about money? Aren't you well provided for already?
It's not about the money, it's about some recognition for my achievements. I need to know that the company, and particularly you, notice and value my contribution. Hugh, is this true? Validation is an important part of any relationship, marital or not.
Of course it's not true. I validate her a lot.
Hugh breathes out a frustrated sigh as he runs his hand through his thick hair, then continues.
I always say that you inspire me whenever I'm interviewed. Don't you remember, Amy?
I don't want to be credited as a muse, Hugh. I want to be recognized for the work that I've done.
I appreciate you, Amy. You know that I do.
What I think Amy is saying is that she desires a fulfilling career life as well. While she's proud of all that you've accomplished, and she's pleased to have helped you, she wants to forge a burgeoning career in the fashion world as well. Yeah, I'm a fashion designer too, and I want a little more credit for my work. If I may express my personal opinion, I happen to think Amy is very talented. I'm quite a fan of the new collection, but I didn't know that you designed most of the pieces. In fact, I think my dress is from the spring collection. Did you design it by chance? Red creeps into my cheeks as I embarrassedly scratch the back of my neck. It's usually Hugh that gets the gushing fans. Yeah, that's one of my designs. It's one of the more popular pieces from the collection, actually.
That's where I know that dress from. I've been staring at it all day, wondering where I'd seen it before. I was admiring it, but it also looked familiar. I knew that I hadn't designed it, but I couldn't remember where I knew it from. It's stunning. Fantastic job, Amy.
My cheeks burn further. 2 compliments in the same day. Oh, what magic is this?
You really are talented. Maybe I don't say it enough. I'm sorry, Amy. I'll try to be more vocal in the future.
Mrs. Whitehouse scrawls a few notes in our file while murmuring something about communication problems. So Hugh was staring so intently at her because he was studying her dress, not her body. What a relief! The session goes much smoother from then on, and Hugh is considerably more participative. Soon our hour with the therapist has ended, and the two of us amble outside to our car. As we make our way home, Hugh grips the steering wheel tightly and refrains from speaking, only staring forward until I break the silence. Do you think it'll work? The therapy, I mean. Do you think it'll help our relationship?
Honestly, I think it's a waste of time. I do think we need to work some things out, but we don't need some therapist butting in. Let's figure this out just the two of us, huh? Come on.
I frown, feeling somewhat conflicted. I actually really enjoyed the therapy and was looking forward to our next appointment. However, despite my feelings, I reluctantly agree with you to work it out ourselves. Interesting. Very interesting. Although I feel like the fight? What fight did we have? Did I miss something? Whatever. We'll just continue getting that creativity up, shall we?